Hey guys, we are back with some more New Jersey Devils franchise mode, and in this one, we are going to be going into free agency and not signing Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. In the last one, we wanted to go after this guy because I thought that he would make our goaltending better. But diving more into his stats, he only had a .902 save percentage last year in 62 games, so that wouldn't necessarily be an upgrade from either Leonard or Dubnyk. And obviously, he has the advantage in terms of age on those guys. He's 23, Leonard's 30, Dubnyk is 36. But when you take a look at the league stats from last year, and then a minimum of 30 games played, and then we sort by save percentage, the best goaltender in the league was Connor Hellebuyck last year with a .918. And then as we scroll down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dubnyk's right there. And then next, Robin Leonard. So when you take into account the stats of all the guys who are currently free agents, and then the guys all on that list, Dubnyk and Leonard are within the top 15 goaltenders in the entire league. Both of them. As we go back to free agency here, we take a look at all the stats of these guys. Luukkonen, .902 in 62 games played, a .907 for Grubauer, a .905 for Georgiev, a .907 for Kemper, a .908 for Yeri, an .884 for Antti Ranta, a .907 for Lundqvist, .899 for Jimmy Howard, .893 for Koskinen, .922 for Anderson, but only in 20 games played, .910 for Rinne, .903 for Greiss, a .905 for DeSmith, a .906 for Halak, a .900 for Campbell, a .920 for Hutton, but in only 20 games played, a .908 for Neuwirth, only 24 games played, a .913 for Talbot, but again, only 19 games played. When you take all that into consideration, Leonard and Dubnyk are both top 15, if not top 10 goaltenders in the league. So that's where we are not going to be approaching UPL. I just see a little bit more risk than reward in it, honestly, and I'd rather just draft my own goaltender at some point. But before we go ahead here to the start of year number 4, one thing that intrigued me is I took a look at the trade block of every team, and it appears that Colorado wants to give up Bowen Byram. And we do need a young elite defenseman. Now, I don't want to trade for him right now because Byram, as a 21-year-old, is only a 77 overall. So you have to think that maybe the reason Byram is on the trade block is because he isn't growing as Colorado expected him to. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to wait until after the offseason jump. We're going to see if he's still on the trade block come preseason, if he is. And if he's grown up to, let's say, an 80, we should make a run for him. But if not, then we'll just leave him be, and we'll move into next season with this exact roster. So we'll go over our contract situation real quick, and then we'll move into the preseason, and then we'll check on Bowen Byram again. So forwards, we have Hall, Hischier, Hughes, Gusev, Bratt, Palmieri, Coleman, Lundell. That's 8, and as expected, Lundell did grow. He's now an 82 overall. And the offseason jump hasn't even happened yet. So he may end up being an 83 or an 84 by the time the regular season starts. So that's definitely good for Lundell. 9 is Simmons. 10 is Boqvist. 11 is Zaka. And then 12 is Bozak. And then 13 Zajac, or you could switch Zajac with Bozak. Defensemen, you have Subban, Butcher, Severson, Smith, Vukojevic, Zhamnov, and then as well as Jordan Schmaltz out of free agency would be number 7. So there's your defense. And in goal, of course, you have Leonard and Dubnyk. And then Darling in the minors with Cormier, Stahlberg, Wingels, and Karppinen. So there you go. That is about it for our offseason. We will make our way to the start of year number 4. And there's Bozak. There's Schmaltz. We have a trade to Chicago. 2 seconds and Harabik. And to San Jose, Evan Rodriguez and Brendan Gaunce. Another trade to Nashville, we have Shore and Cuckoo. And to Arizona, we have Saros and a 4th. Another trade to St. Louis, we have Bailey, Nosek, and a 6th. And to Vegas, we have a 1st and Riley Walsh. So at the start of year number 4 now, let's check out our roster. In goal, of course, you have Leonard and Dubnyk. On defense, you have Subban, Severson, Butcher, Smith's an 82 now. Okay, good. He's seen some progress. Vukojevic's an 81, and Zhamnov still a 78. You don't like to see it. Yikes. It's 2 straight years of no growth for Kirill Zhamnov. That is unfortunate. And at forward, you have Hall and Hughes at 90 overall. Love to see it. Nico at 89, Gusev 87, Palmieri, Bratt, Lundell 84, good. So Anton Lundell, if he can put up some decent numbers, let's say on the third line, maybe power play as well, he's looking good for a rookie. Blake Coleman 83 overall, Simmons and Boquist 81 overall, Zaka 79, Bozak 78, Cini 78, and I'm guessing Zajac is in the system. Yes, he is, 76 overall. That's unfortunate, but we'll call him up instead of Cini. Now, the next thing I want to do, I want to check on Bowen Byram from Colorado. I want to see if he is still on the trade block, and yes, he is. All right, let's see his overall now. He is a 77 overall. You hate to see it. So maybe he's not growing. Maybe he's not growing. Either that or it's just that we don't have him scouted. But that 4-bar 77 overall, I mean, that tells me that he's not growing. Maybe it's best if we stay away from Byram. I was thinking we could maybe go after him, but I don't know. Unless the jump hasn't happened for him yet, it's looking like Byram might be a bust here, unfortunately, for Colorado. So we're going to stay away from him for right now. We're just going to go into this season with what we have. Okay, so we have our lines together. First line, Hall, Hughes, and Gusev, as expected. Second line, Bratt, Hischier, and Palmieri. Third line is Coleman, Lundell, Boquist. And the fourth line, Zaka, Zajac, and Simmons. On defense, we have Smith and Subban. Decided to go with this combo again because it seems to work well in the playoffs defensively. So I figured, why not? We'll try it here in the regular season. And Smith did grow last season, so we'll see if he could do it again from this season going into next season, playing alongside of Subban. Now that I think he's definitely more mature. He's 22 years of age. He's an 82 overall. Maybe he's a bit more capable of getting it done on that top pair. And then, of course, you have Butcher and Subban, and then Vukojevic with Zhamnov. Now, we're going to start with Zhamnov, but if we don't see some improvement out of him soon, we might have to consider trading him because he's just not, unfortunately, growing too much. Power play, we have Bratt, Hughes, Hall, Smith, and Palmieri. And then on the second wave, we have Gusev, Hischier, Boquist, Butcher, and Subban. Four-man power play, Hughes, Hall, Subban, Smith, Hischier, Gusev, Severson, and Butcher. And then on the penalty kill, you have Hischier, Coleman, Severson, and Subban. And then Zajac, Lundell, Butcher, and Vukojevic. Three-man penalty kill is Hischier, Subban, Severson, Lundell, Vukojevic, Butcher. 4-on-4, you have Hughes, Hall, Subban, and Smith. Hischier, Gusev, Severson, and Butcher. 4-on-4 continued, you have Lundell, Bratt, Zhamnov, and Vukojevic. 3-on-3, Hughes, Hall, Subban. Hischier, Gusev, Butcher, Lundell, Bratt, and Severson. The extra attackers, Hughes and Hischier. And the shootout, Hughes, Hall, Hischier, Gusev, and Bratt. And of course in goal you have Leonard and Dubnyk, Scratched, Art, Schmaltz, and Bozak. And we're also going to keep an eye on Guy Beijing throughout the season. I'm really interested to see what his growth ends up being like throughout the season. If he ends up being an 80-plus overall by the end of the season, I mean, this guy is as good as written in for our lineup next year. And especially with that low franchise 2-bar potential, it should be very interesting to see how this guy, and again, literally guy, ends up turning out. And new numbers, you have Lundell with 15, Bozak with 23, Vukojevic with 44, Schmaltz with 25, and that's it. So we have sent out the scout, we've gone through preseason, and we are set to start the regular season. But first we're going to take a quick look at these stats because I took a look at them earlier. They are frankly ridiculous. As we see, Nico with 14 points, Bratt with 13, Gusev with 12, Palmieri with 10, Hall, Subban, Hughes, all point per game, but where it gets ridiculous is the next guy down. After all these guys, all of our main guys, the rest of our players, yeah. I mean, it is just, I've never seen anything like this in my life. I mean, you go from Hughes with 8 points, over a point per game, to Severson and Boquist with 2 points, and then Butcher and Vukojevic with 1 point. Everybody else in 7 games with no points. And then more good news, Robin Leonard with a .916 save percentage, though that is in the preseason. So let us get right to our first game of the regular season against the Florida Panthers. And we're going to view this one in the third period. First period, we have a 3-1 lead for your New Jersey Devils right off the bat. Palmieri twice, and Lundell with his first NHL goal on Sergei Bobrovsky. There you go. And Jonathan Huberdeau on Leonard. Second period, we have a 3-2 game. Goal by Harluck on Leonard. Good game. Let's get into it. And here we go. Third period against the Florida Panthers. Hughes against Barkov on the face-off. And Barkov will win it to Matheson. Matheson to Ekblad, who just barely stays onside for, I believe that was Gaudreau. And yes, indeed it is. It looked like Florida picked up Johnny Gaudreau out of free agency this year as Ty Smith up for your Devils as Hall gets it from Smith to Subban. Subban with the clapper that goes wide and high of the net and out of play. Line one still out there for both teams as Hughes wins the draw this time. Back to Subban. Gusev tried to feed that pass over to, I believe that would have been Taylor Hall or possibly Jack Hughes as the shot is taken by Gaudreau. Hughes recovers it on the boards, but taken by Ekblad. Ekblad to Huberdeau. Back for Ekblad. Ekblad tries to weave around Taylor Hall as Leonard will save that and cover it up. Second line for both teams out there now. Bratt, Hischier, and Palmieri out there against Atkinson, Borgstrom, and Dadonov. Face off won by Hischier. Subban got it from Smith and up to Palmieri. Palmieri tries to get through the defense of the Florida Panthers, but cannot. Dumped in by Borgstrom and met by Ty Smith at the boards, but intercepted by Atkinson. Atkinson circles around for his defenseman number 33. Gets it back from Borgstrom, Desmata. Vatanen, the former New Jersey Devil, as Subban picks it up in front. Palmieri through the neutral zone. And takes the shot short side on Bobrovsky, but he gloves it and holds on. Second line still out there for your Devils, and the third line out there for Florida. Harluck, Byfield, and Tippett. Face off push by Byfield. Harluck tries to get up through the neutral zone, but taken by Bratt. Bratt cuts back. Circles, finds Severson at the point with the shot, but blocked in front by a Panther as Harluck gets it from Vatanen and back to him. And Vatanen tried to pass it ahead to his teammate, but taken by Hischier. And Hischier tried to get it to his teammate, but taken by Florida. So a bunch of interceptions and turnovers right now going on. Byfield, back to the point for Vatanen. Harluck tried to get a shot off, but couldn't as Bratt goes through the neutral zone, bodied by a Florida Panther, but continues on. Finds Boqvist, his fellow countryman, for Bratt. He tried to get that in the net, but he was denied by the Panthers as Tippett for Harluck. Harluck from McCoshen for Ang on the point with a heck of a wrist shot as Vatanen to Ang once again, and he looks like Ang looks like he has quite the shot there as his shots are just lasers, but they've been missing the net. Ang, once again. 4 minutes remaining in the third. He dumps around. Vukojevic meets it. Kicks it up to Lundell. Coleman from Boqvist. He dumps in with 2:45 remaining. Vatanen meets it at the boards. Boqvist pressures him. And Boqvist gets it back, and Bobrovsky with the outstanding glove save on a shot off of a turnover by Sammy Vatanen, I believe that was. And the shot from Boqvist, he nipped that with the glove, did Bobrovsky. As Gusev gets it back and out. Coleman dumps in. 44 seconds remaining. Ekblad chases that down, gets it to Gaudreau, who finds Barkov. Barkov, the Panthers are pulling their goaltender. Barkov in the corner to number 12. McCoshen, I believe that is. Barkov centers that one, but Subban intercepts. Gusev tried to get it to his teammate, and Atkinson is tripped up. There will be a penalty coming up here momentarily as the Devils touch, and we have 22 seconds on the penalty kill due to the New Jersey Devils. Hughes goes to the box for tripping, and it will be a 6-on-4 for Florida. Lundell and Zajac out there with Subban, and I can't see the other guy. That'd be Severson. And the shot by Florida. Oh no, the shot by Florida right off the draw goes in. You absolutely hate to see it. Johnny Gaudreau with apparently his first career goal. There you go. And, yeah. Wow. Yeah, Florida ties it up just like that. Hughes out of the box within 2 seconds. Face-off win, and Gaudreau's just wide open. He lasers that right to the net. And we're tied. Well, it looks like we might be seeing some overtime here unless someone does something in the last 20 seconds. Fourth line out there for New Jersey as Subban gets it for Smith. Back to Subban. Subban tried to get it over to one of his teammates, but found Matheson instead. Dadonov tries to center that, but intercepted by Simmons. Borgstrom takes it back from him and tried to get it towards net. Could not as Subban clears, and we are going to overtime. Here we go, 3-on-3. Hall, Hughes, and Subban out there against Gaudreau. Barkov, and it looks like Ekblad. Yes, indeed. Ekblad takes that off the faceoff for Gaudreau. Gaudreau loses it to Hughes, to Hall. Hall through the neutral zone. Hall on a partial break as he cannot get a quality shot off as Gaudreau the other way. Gaudreau tries to dangle around Subban. Finds Barkov as Leonard with the save. Barkov in the corner. Around the net for Gaudreau. Gaudreau with the shot. Tried to get the rebound, did Barkov, but couldn't. Around the net again. Hall picks it up for Subban. 1:50 remaining in the overtime. As Subban cuts. A little dangle. Finds Hall with the shot that goes wide. Gaudreau takes it from his own zone. Finds Barkov. Gets it to Gaudreau once again. Gaudreau tries to get past Subban and cannot. Hughes finds Gusev. Gusev tries to get through the zone. Once again, cannot. He's defended well by Florida. Vatanen with the shot that goes wide. I believe that deflected off a stick. Huberdeau pinned along the boards as Vatanen wide open. He misses the net as well. My goodness. Barkov takes it for Florida. Gets it back from Vatanen and the shot hit off the crossbar. My goodness. Huberdeau behind the net. He circles around and his shot misses the net as well. My goodness. Vatanen down below the net, but taken by Gusev and Subban up through the neutral zone for New Jersey. Finds Hughes. Hughes with the shot, and Bobrovsky with the save. Wow. What an OT. Bratt, Lundell, and Butcher out there for New Jersey, along with Huberdeau, Borgstrom, and whoever else for Florida there. I believe that's Matheson, number 19. As Florida tries to clear, they get it out to the neutral zone. Bratt in once more. Defended well by Matheson. Bratt tried to get it back from him, but could not. Borgstrom tried to find Matheson, but Butcher takes it instead. Butcher cuts and tried to find Bratt in front, but Bobrovsky is not having any of that. 26 seconds remaining in the OT. Nico, Gusev, out there, I believe, with... That looks like Butcher. Yes, indeed. Butcher tried to find Hischier, but taken by Dadonov instead. It's Nico. Cross ice to Gusev. 13 seconds remaining in the OT. What can happen here? With the Devils in the offensive zone. Butcher to Hischier with the shot. Gusev was at the doorstep, but it looks like we will, unless something happens here, be going to a shootout. Yes, indeed. And here we go. We could be in for a treat here, or we could be in for a very long marathon, depending on what happens. So, Johnny Gaudreau up first. What will he do? Gaudreau in. And doesn't get a shot away. Actually, you know what? Let's change the camera angle here. Alright, here we go. Hughes. First up for New Jersey. And he shoots. He scores as well. He gets it for the first goal of the shootout. On Bobrovsky. What a short side snip by Hughes. As he gets that, I believe, right under the blocker. Yes, indeed. What a goal by Hughes. And the captain, Alexander Barkov, up next for Florida. What will he do? And he does not get a shot away. So we have the chance to end it right here with, I believe, Taylor Hall coming up next. Come on, Halsey. He can end it here. And he does. Hall shoots it. Top cheddar. And your New Jersey Devils win the first game of the season in a shootout against the Florida Panthers. So there you go. First game of the season in the books. Let's get the next month done. And unfortunately, Will Butcher will be out with a pulled groin until October 24th. This is why we signed Jordan Schmaltz. Let's get him in there. And we will put, I guess, Vukojevic on the top four with Severson. And then with Zhamnov will be Schmaltz. And instead of Schmaltz on the power play, we will get Zhamnov. And Schmaltz can stay on the penalty kill. And Will Butcher is back. Get you back in. And back with Severson. Now, one thing that we do have to do this season as well is continue the rotations with Leonard and Dubnyk. But Leonard's doing just fine right now. He's at a 912. And as far as this save file goes anyway, 912 is pretty solid. And unfortunately, Nico Hischier has been injured with injured ribs till November 1st. That is about a week away. We will get Lundell onto that second line. And we will, I guess, get Zaka up to the third. And then Bozak in where Zaka would be. And we'll also get Lundell on the power play, because I feel like he would benefit from some power play time. He is a second line forward after all, according to the game, as we see here. So hopefully that will get him going a little bit offensively. He only has 2 goals so far in 8 games. So unfortunately, we have been on a little bit of a, well, not a losing streak, but just a rough patch. The past 5 games, we have lost 4 times. And a lot of it has to do with not scoring. As you take a look at all these losses here, 3-1 loss, 3-0 loss, 5-1 loss, 4-1 loss. I mean, obviously, we gave up a lot of goals there. But another thing that those games have in common, we did not score at all. It's just basically between those 4 losses, I believe we had 3 goals. So we need to change a little something up. And we're going to start out by putting Devin Dubnyk in net. Leonard has a 908, but that's gone down a little bit since we've last checked. So we'll get Dubnyk in for the first time this season. And as for the offense, let's see what our defensemen are doing. Smith with 3 points. Subban with 5. Butcher with 3. Severson with 2. Vukojevic with 1. Don't expect him to score. And Zhamnov with 2. First line, Hall 9 points. Hughes 10. Gusev 11. Bratt with 8. Lundell only with 2 so far. And Palmieri with 7. Coleman with 1. Zaka with 2. Bokus with 3. Bozak with nothing in 2 games. Zajac with 1 in 10 games. And Simmons with 2 in 10 games. So overall, it looks like other than our main guys, the preseason simulation was actually pretty accurate, given that it seems our depth scoring is not there right now. As we check goals for per game, I believe, we have one of the lower goals for per game in the entire division right now, 2.8. While that's not terrible, it's definitely not optimal, especially for today's NHL. As we take a look at goals against per game, we're at 3 goals against per game. Power play could be a lot better, 15.6. And then as we take a look at the penalty kill, we're actually not bad, 81.5. So Ozelinch apparently, the 58. What in the world? Really? Is this, why? How? Huh? A 58 overall goaltender playing in the NHL apparently with 3 wins and a 954 save percentage. Are you absolutely joking me, EA? What? Only 7 goals against in 5 games. Yeah, right. What in the world? I mean, he has a better save percentage over 5 games than someone like Brian Elliott, who's a 77. Than someone like Jonathan Quick, who's an 82. I mean, jeez. Why? What in the world? Miroslav Ozelinch, apparently the best goaltender of the game. That should be a 98 overall right there. It's just so... And then, of course, Mackenzie Blackwood out here with a 923 save percentage on Minnesota. And last year, he had an 897. So I have no idea what any of this is about. I mean, it looks like goaltending so far in the NHL has been a lot better this year compared to last year, but we'll see how it evens out. throughout the season. I guarantee you a lot of these guys drop down based off what we've seen so far. And especially Ozolich is someone to keep an eye on. Actually, you know what? I want to remember this name, so I'm going to write him down. And I want to check on him in about a month. I want to see first of all, how many games played he has, and if he's still in the NHL for that matter. And if he still is able to maintain a decent save percentage. If his save percentage is still above a 920 at that point, then I just give up. I don't know what a good goaltender is anymore at that point. Oh my goodness. So we're going to take a look at some of the more defensive stats here, takeaways and giveaways. Hall, Hughes, Hischier, Lundell all doing great. Subban's doing great. Gusev could be better. Boqvist, he's doing good. Coleman could be better. Zacha is good. Bratt could be doing better. Zajac could be doing better. Palmieri could be doing better. Butcher could be doing better as a defenseman as well. Smith could be doing better. Simmons could be doing better. Severson could be doing better. Schmaltz could be doing better. Vukojevic could be doing better as well. Zhamnov could be doing better. So really, defensively, it looks like not really there other than our top guys so far. Hits, you got Subban, Hall, Hughes, Palmieri, Coleman, Zacha, Severson, all above a hit per game. And then these guys down here, Boqvist, Vukojevic, Bratt, Simmons, Gusev, Hischier, Zajac, Schmaltz, Smith, Lundell, Zhamnov, Butcher, Bozak, not doing any hitting. So I think it's pretty clear that we are not playing any kind of defense, at least as far as the bottom six goes, because you have guys like, Zajac, Schmaltz, Bozak down here with very few hits. And of course, you expect Gusev and Bratt not to have any hits, but even Simmons, he only has 6 hits right now compared to 10 games played. He's on pace for about 65 hits. As we take a look at faceoffs, you have Zajac with a 54.8, Hughes with a 53.7, Hischier with a 52.9, and then Lundell with a 41.7. That's unfortunate. Now, you got to remember that Nico is still partially injured, so he's not in our lineup yet, but I feel like we could use an upgrade on the 4th line or somewhere in the bottom 6. Maybe upgrade Zacha. And he's doing decently defensively, and he's throwing the body quite a bit, 16 hits. Yeah, I don't know about Zacha. Maybe you upgrade Zajac, you move Zajac back to the 13th forward. You upgrade, Bozak would be the one coming out once Nico gets back. Maybe it's time to move on from Simmons, considering he hasn't really been great defensively, and he's not laying the body as much as he should either. And he's not getting, to be fair, he's not getting a whole lot of ice time either, but, it's out of a 4th liner, I kind of expect you to be at least a hit per game, or at the very least, if not a hit per game, then a good takeaway to giveaway ratio. And right now, he only has 1 takeaway in 10 games. Okay, so Guy Bajin is a low elite potential, and he's a minor scoring forward right now. So it's a good thing that we left him in juniors. We'll see how he progresses throughout the year. Hopefully, he ends up being NHL ready by next year, but it's definitely unfortunate that is not a low franchise potential or even a medium elite. So we swung and we partially missed. We still got a pretty good prospect, but not as good as we thought. So to replace Simmons and maybe Zajac, we're going to take a look at the forwards around the entire league with the least ice time, and then we are going to take a look at the hits and the takeaways to giveaways to find out which ones are the best defensively with the least amount of ice time. So you have Lucic, only 2 hits and 1 takeaway in 5:35 of ice time. That's not a whole lot of data. So we're going to go, I would say, down, Kevin Hayes only getting 7:06 of ice time. And still with that 4 years left on that contract. My goodness. As we go down the list here, look for something respectable in the hits column. So Aston Reese, 9 hits. Not too many takeaways, not too many giveaways. And only 7:30 of ice time. Now, does he do it consistently? He does hit pretty consistently, but he's historically not great defensively. At least he wasn't last year. So as we keep going, you have Cassian, who in 7:39 of ice time has 12 hits, 2 giveaways, and 1 takeaway. What about historically for Cassian? He's not the greatest, he's not the worst. His high for the simulation was last year with 107 hits. The year before was 69, then 84 in year number 1. I'd rather keep looking You have Clifford with 750 of ice time, 12 hits, 2 takeaways, 1 giveaway. How's his history? He didn't play much last year, it looks like. 7 giveaways, 1 takeaway, 5 hits in 924 of ice time. But the year before that with Carolina, he had 82 hits in 843 of ice time and was not good defensively. So I think I'll pass on Clifford. You have James Neal, the real deal. He's a 79 overall. He didn't play much last year with Arizona, but he was good defensively with Toronto. He laid the body quite a bit, 44 times in 61 games. He's currently gotten 9 hits in 10 games. I think I'll pass on Neal. You have Logan Brown. He's an 83 overall, only getting 825 of ice time on Ottawa. I have no idea what they're doing there. We're going to take a look at Logan Brown's history. He's pretty good defensively. He lays the body quite a bit. I don't see where he would fit in our lineup, though. That would be any different from Ottawa. We would just be putting him on our 4th line. And even though he would be an upgrade for sure, I don't know if I'd be able to find him appropriate ice time because you have Hughes, Hischier, Lundell as your top 3 centers. Then that would mean Brown, if he plays as a center, gets moved down to the 4th line, or he moves to the wing, which ideally he's a center. I suppose you could put him on the penalty kill instead of Zajac, since you're replacing Zajac with Brown anyway. Alright, maybe Brown. Maybe Brown. Let me know on Logan Brown. You have Jordan Greenway. His takeaways to giveaways right now are pretty good. 7-2 and then 10 hits in 848 of ice time. Now, I'm not sure how sustainable that is. As last year, he had 95 hits, but the year before, he only had 44. And how many games played? 61. And then he also had less ice time that year. And as we take a look at his historical defensive numbers, I mean, he's pretty good in the simulation. 27-25, 24-15, 32-34. Might have been a down year for him. Maybe Jordan Greenway is another pickup. We replace Simmons with Greenway and then replace Zajac with Brown. And, of course, we keep Zajac on the team as the 13th forward. That might not be a bad idea. What's his contract looking like? 1 year for 2.1? Yeah, I'd do that. So maybe we consider getting Brown and Greenway as replacements. See, what do you guys say? Yes or no to Brown and yes or no to Greenway? And remember, there's no Hischier right now. So ideally, Hughes, Hischier, Lundell, and then Brown. Then maybe you move Zacha to the wing. So you take Bozak and Zajac out. Simmons is traded. So then the 4th line would be Zacha, Brown, and Greenway. Then it'd be Coleman, Lundell, Boqvist, Palmieri, Hischier, Bratt, Hall, Hughes, Gusev. And then the penalty kill, of course, you're taking out Bozak, you're taking out Zajac. Hischier will be replaced with Bozak once he gets back. And then in Zajac's spot would be Logan Brown. So I think I'm going to end it off here. I want to hear what you guys have to say about Greenway and Brown. And also, I've been recording for over an hour and a half at this point. I don't know how long the video is actually going to be, but the recording's pretty long. I got to edit now if I want to get this video up on time. So let me know on all that. And if you have any other suggestions, let me know in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next one when we continue with year number 4.